Cuando nos propusimos el objetivo de incidir en las políticas públicas, no fuimos totalmente conscientes de que estábamos poniendo en juego una nueva estrategia de trabajo de Oxfam, que es lo que conocemos como leverage. Lo que nos propusimos en realidad era tratar de construir una demanda social, que era la demanda para disminuir los riesgos de la producción, convertido en una política pública que tuviera alguna trascendencia y realmente afectara no a 100 familias, a 1000 familias, sino al conjunto de la población boliviana. La innovación central de este programa fue trabajar directamente con el gobierno boliviano. Oxfam usualmente tiene contrapartes, trabaja con ellos, pero en este caso tomamos el riesgo de incidir directamente en el Ministerio de Desarrollo Agrícola para que asumiera su responsabilidad frente a los cambios climáticos. El programa no fue diseñado de una sola vez. El programa fue avanzando y fue cambiando según los distintos hitos que tuvimos en el camino. La primera innovación fue trabajar con el gobierno, como ya lo mencioné, y por ello es que identificamos como un actor principal al viceministro de Desarrollo Rural, un aliado estratégico de Oxfam, para utilizar sus recursos políticos y técnicos en el diseño del programa. Un segundo momento fue la consulta con todas las organizaciones sociales a través de una coparte aliada como fue CIPCA, que nos permitió realmente posicionarnos como un aliado estratégico de los pequeños productores. Un tercer momento fue contribuir más bien con insumos técnicos especializados, como por ejemplo un atlas agroclimático que nos permitía negociar mejores condiciones de prima con las empresas aseguradoras. Así, cada buen resultado nos daba inmediatamente el escenario para diseñar una nueva momento de intervención. Así fue como se desarrolló este programa del seguro agrícola. Los programas que tienen en el corazón o en el centro de su diseño leverage son uno de los que logran mayores impactos. Concretamente, nosotros hemos logrado con una inversión de 58.000 libras durante los últimos 3 años favorecer a 60.000 personas en la primera etapa de implementación del seguro agrícola, protegiendo 90.000 hectáreas de producción diversificada de alimentos. Ese para mí es un impacto central. Este año el gobierno ha destinado $6 millones para subvencionar el seguro en extrema pobreza, pero cuando cubra todo el territorio nacional, esperamos que el Estado tenga una subvención de $29 millones para la política del seguro agrícola universal.
A person who doesn't have food to eat for the next 2 months, you give him $100. In the next 2 months, you have saved that person's life. When somebody dies, you cannot bring them back. So giving them money at this time will save their life, not to die, to have food and then start planning for how do we go through this? How can we recover from this? This is already a disaster coming on the way. So this is why Oxfam designed a program. They realized, after our assessment in 2001, we realized there's food in the market, but the food prices were very high, and the local persons, the rural person, the rural poor family cannot afford to buy this food. They don't have any money in their hands, so we designed a program to give some little bit of cash so that they are able to buy food from the local market.
إجراءات عمل مسح ميداني والحصول على قوائم هذه الأسماء نتيجة المساحات الميدانية تمت في الميدان، ثم المراجعة الميدانية، ثم المراجعة المكتبية، ثم إدخال الحسب الآلي، ثم هناك نظام معنا نظام آلي يتم على إخراج هذه الأسر لتحديد الأكثر استحقاقا.
We have contracted post office to do a field distribution because it's very long for a beneficiary to come to the district headquarters. So we take the distribution to the community where they can live. They can easily access this money. We give them the voucher, they go with it to post office and get a post office payment receipt. And from the post office payment receipt, then they can pick cash from post office on that specific day. This cash is $21,500, equivalent to $100. It's given for 2 months, to cover 2 months, $50 per month. This has helped them to be able to meet the food needs.
This is the program which aim to improving the disaster management policy and practices from all the stakeholders, from the provincial, the national, up to international, through preparedness, capacity building, advocacy, and most importantly, it was about the influencing others, from the government stakeholder to and also other humanitarian stakeholder in Indonesia. I think the achievement is most of them is about how Oxfam contributed to the announcement of the disaster management law in 2007. It was long journey for Oxfam in Indonesia, and I'm sure it's also happened and contributed by other actors apart from Oxfam. But that disaster management law is really fundamental for Indonesia context, especially how the government become strong in leadership, especially on delivering the disaster management in more high quality. The other successful, it's about how we as Oxfam try to combine and try to be more proactive instead of reactive, addressing the emergency response. Because the prime is try to combine between how emergency response become part of the disaster risk reduction as a holistic approach. And so far we've seen that the prime is fit for the context, especially how also other actors can also try to adopt and utilize the framework of the prime. The other, the successful is about Oxfam itself internally use prime is not only in Indonesia, but also Oxfam Australia. I heard that the other thing is Oxfam India also try to use the prime program or prime framework for the context of their area.
We want to see over women's economic leadership in horticulture subsector of Rwanda. This means more stakeholders in the chain dependent on women for various services. Women have access to technology, resources, and have required skills to be more competitive. As a result of this, women can get recognition for their role at household level, community level, and institutional level. What is innovative is the design of program itself. We started from the point of focusing on women, then developed ways of working and business models around them. This is very different to traditional models that develop a supply chain and then try to apply it to women. We broker relationships between producers and buyers such as government and private sector, build capacities like business facilitator role, to engage microfinance institutions in middle range financing for women entrepreneurs, provided advisory services by seconding staff sharing approaches for agencies interested to invest in Rwanda. We showcased women-focused enterprise development with influential bodies to leverage support to our initiatives. Through developing a business model and facilitating access to markets, women pineapple seed producers have sold more than 1.5 million pineapple suckers. They have also become employers themselves, taking on more than 10,000 days of labor in the first round of seed production. Local governments have started inviting women for training others. Oxfam independently designed IFAD's $6 million horticulture project with the government, which has a very clear focus on smallholders and women. Now, our experience is paying dividends in making people consider Oxfam as a reference point in the horticulture sector of Rwanda.
Oxfam, through Civil Society Health Forum, came up with the initiative to support the Vote Health for All campaign.
Basically, one of the major reasons why Oxfam supports civil society in engaging communities and the government is because we have a rights-based approach where we try to ensure that communities are involved in the governance of the country. They are involved in the issues that affect them within the communities, and particularly health, because as you might be aware, health is an issue that affects everybody.
The whole point of doing this campaign was just really to kind of bring the people's voices in and kind of raise the profile on the issues that Zambia has been facing in the health sector. So we did go around to the communities and did some consultation and got issues that were really dear to their hearts and shaped them into very specific campaign acts that we wanted the government to start working on. And so we did collect the people's voices and brought them to the spaces that are normally, not accessible by these people. But we're also trying to unlock the closed spaces where these power holders are, that our citizens and our civil society organizations don't have the opportunity to access. And so that kind of shaped the whole campaigning work that we're doing around the elections that we had. We used quite a number of tools, and that's what made this campaign worthwhile. From simple tools as just using t-shirts that could raise the visibility, to using songs and drama, using our local celebrities to profile the campaign, and also using a lot more sophisticated tools that could target the power holders themselves, like our policy analysis built on all the consultation that we had done with the communities. And we put all these tools together and combine them in a way that we could target local actors, we could target provincial and national actors, and by that I mean our presidential aspiring candidates, our parliamentary candidates, and also just the councillors at the local level. The whole campaign actually created a lot of space for different people in different political parties to get together on a platform and deliberate on these issues, and also respond to some of the concerns that the communities had. And it's very rare that you get political parties to sit on one table and look at issues that affect people, and so this campaign was really good in that sense. I think the other bit that I would want to talk about is just what worked well in this campaign. So the fact that we used quite a lot of experience that sits with Oxfam in different countries and got support from a whole lot of people in the region, from the Pan-Africa team, from Oxford, was really a good thing. We also worked with quite a number of multiple actors from our civil society health forum, so that kind of brought a lot of expertise in, and we had quite a lot of innovation built in it as a result of the different number of actors. What we could have done better was probably manage the different stakeholder interests, right from Oxford down through to the country program, but also outside interests, as in the ones that we experience from our partner organizations. I think having to work with the multiple players like that kind of brings on the table a number of different agendas, and we need to kind of manage this properly.
The Tajikistan Water Supply and Sanitation Project, known shortly as TAJWAS, seek to improve the overall coverage of rural communities that have access to piped water supply, and thus improve the lives of substantial number of people living in situation of poverty in Tajikistan. This has occurred and brought about change in both policy and practice of water management and governance. That change has offered new possibilities for enhancing sustainability of supplies and systems, and also encouraged investment in the subsector. When we received the grant from the Swiss Cooperation and Development and started designing the Tajikistan Water Supply and Sanitation Project, we spotted the issue of lack of coordination. And this has been clear even inside each stakeholder. Coordination was crucial to exchange information, experiences, and most important, to avoid duplication. So we need a forum. Then, if everyone busy into the issue, agrees on the questions and recommendations, it will be more stronger, and it can help in bringing the change we are all aiming to achieve. The Tajwis project developed a theory of change that would be described as brokering and convening through the establishment of forum that bring all relevant players together at regular intervals. The involving like international main players from the international community, both donors and international organizations, local organizations, private sector, media, academia, and on top of those, the government stakeholders like ministries and agencies, has formed an exciting opportunity for everybody to work in an unbranded way and have allowed all to claim the credit of the outcomes of that forum. Using this participatory technique and the subgroups that has been formed to address particular issues that came out from that forum has allowed Oxfam to bring the voices of poor people to the table of decision makers.